Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, time for the fourth tip of how to develop your intuitive superpower in preparation for the workshop that's happening Friday, tomorrow. And so I've been giving, just if you're just joining now and just seeing this, I've been giving a tip every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because there are 4 cues that can help you identify a spiritual knowing, an inner knowing, a gut feeling, a spiritual thought from a rational thought or any other type of thought. And so I've been giving a cue, a tip each day, one of the 4 cues to identify an intuitive thought. And then tomorrow, Friday, I'm giving you the experience of what it's like to have an intuitive thought and know with confidence, this is an intuitive thought. I can go with what came to me right now. This makes sense to me. This is the direction that I'm going to take. And so we've had 4 days of just information about the 4 cues. And tomorrow in the workshop, we're doing the experience of what it's like to boost your intuitive intelligence and your intuitive capacities. So I'll say off the start here, there's a link in the post to read more about the workshop. I've made it super available. It is $14.97, so it's accessible to everybody. I don't want anybody to not be able to take this workshop. The reason is that we need our intuition now more than any other time. We always need it because intuition aligns us with the higher good, the wholeness of our life, aligns us to our purpose. What's the right thing for us to do next? So now when we're in these times of really immense stress that we're all experiencing to different degrees, but we're all in this pressure cooker that has been created on the planet with the coronavirus, it's much harder to stay aligned and peaceful and grounded and centered. So that's why I really want to offer these tools, because I think they are so important at this time to create spaciousness and grounding and center and peace when you make decisions. Now the deal is like this, and I said it in the video yesterday, in the live yesterday. We need both intuitive thinking and rational thinking. This is not a fight between the two. We live in a planet of duality, and often we go like, this is better than this. No, this is better than this. We need both. It's all about integrating both. So intuitive thinking allows you to have a direction. It gives you an intuition of a direction to take on any given situation to which you have this intuitive hunch, inner knowing, gut feeling, sense in your heart, right? Logical thinking is what you need afterwards in order to execute the direction that you got through your intuition. How are you going to go about it? How are you going to break it down into steps so you're actually going to do what you said you would do, and you're going to get from where you are to where you want to be? So you see how you really need both. But in our Western culture, for sure, rational thinking has been valued over intuitive thinking, when actually we really need both, and we need intuition first to get the direction, because we want to see the larger pattern in where we need to go and have a gut feeling about that. And then we have our rational mind, logical, deductive thinking to execute our plan and our direction. So we need both. And this workshop that's happening tomorrow is about staying tuned to your intuitive knowing and your intuitive thoughts, because we need a bit more quiet and more spaciousness for that. And when we're busy trying to figure out what to do and our attention is dissipating into the media, and we're on our phones and all of our social media, we lose this spaciousness that's needed in order to listen to our intuition. So I've created this workshop. It's perfect timing just for right now. So I'll just recap quickly the other 3 tips, and then I'll give you the tip for today. So the first cue to know this is an intuitive thought and not a rational thought is it happens when you're in a spacious state of mind. There's a spaciousness. And many times spaciousness is associated with thoughts that are loving, that are compassionate, that are life-affirming, that are inclusive, that are creative, that are flexible, open. All of these qualities create spaciousness, what I call expansiveness, expansive consciousness. And tomorrow we're going to have an experience of feeling this expansive consciousness. And then what happens is that information that was not available for you a second ago when you were in a more constricted or logical state of mind become available to you, because in spaciousness you have a larger map of whatever topic you're focusing on, right? You've opened your consciousness to a larger set of information of what to do. And so the first cue is that spaciousness, to create spaciousness. And if you go back to the video of the first tip, it gives you some examples, but again, tomorrow we'll have an experience of it. The second cue to know this is an intuitive thought and not a rational thought is that the information arrives as a flash of light. Boom, suddenly it appears in your consciousness seemingly out of nowhere. That's your second cue, because if you have been going, I should do this, and if I do this, this will happen, and maybe this, and you have an idea, that is rational deductive thinking. But if you have an idea that just showed up in your consciousness and you hadn't thought about it, and like, where did it come from? That's the second cue that this is an intuitive guidance, an intuitive hunch. The third cue is that it gives you a totality, a solution that feels like it covers everything. It's like, wow, it just solves the problem. It's not like one little piece and then you need to think of another little piece. Okay, how will you solve that? You're in your rational thinking, and you don't need this right now. That's after you have the direction. But an intuitive hunch shows up as a totality. It kind of, and I read from my book yesterday, it says accompanying thoughts of the third cue might be, yes, I knew that all along. Why didn't I think of it? Or why haven't I thought of that before, right? That kind of thinking is like you get a total understanding of the situation that you're focused on, or that the intuitive guidance is about, and a direction of what to do, an action to do next in a direction. That's the third cue. And so today to the fourth cue. And the fourth cue, and I'm going to read from my book. So again, Living a Spiritual Life in a Material World, 4 Keys to Fulfillment and Balance. And so cue number 4 is intuitive guidance is accompanied by an enhanced emotional state as a result of a sudden recognition of a compelling truth. Feelings may vary from inspiration, excitement, and clarity to an opening of the heart. Regardless of the feeling, so intuitive guidance carries with it a sense of contentment at being connected to an inner wisdom and a higher truth. So the fourth cue is that there is an intensifying emotion. There's an intensifying of a feeling, of an emotional state. So that's your fourth cue to, okay, this is an intuitive thought and not a rational thought. So if you're in a team working and you have an idea, or you're working away alone and suddenly you have like something, it feels like something opened up, and maybe something you were trying to figure out rationally, suddenly you have a direction. For a moment, you expanded your consciousness and you got an idea that just came like this in a flash, and you feel inspired. People say, I'm in the zone, or at team meeting, we were in the zone. Those are indications. And usually when we're in the zone, we feel excited. The energy of the universe that creates universes is flowing through us freely, and that gives us an intensified emotion. When we're constricting and hiding away and not willing to allow this energy to flow through us like it flows through the grass and through the bird and through the trees and through everything in the universe, when we allow that, we feel intensity. And when we don't allow it, whether we rationalize, we deny, we're fearful, we don't feel it. And so there's no intensity. There's just like a contraction. And so that is the fourth tip, the fourth cue for you to know, to identify this is an intuitive guidance. You feel high, you feel inspired, you are eager to go off and to do what the idea that you just had. And then if it's a small thing, then you just go off and do it if it's just one action. But if it's a bigger thing, it's a project, it's long term, then you use your rational mind to decide, okay, how do I move forward in this direction? There's a saying that the mind is a terrible master, but a wonderful servant. And so our rational mind is at the service of the heart, of our intuitive knowing. And it plays a really significant role in our material, physical world to get us step by step to where we want to go. But we need the larger spiritual perspective, holistic perspective, spacious perspective, in order to decide what direction is the most aligned to the wholeness of our life, to the karma in our life, to our dharma, to the people in our life, to where we need to go on a soul level. And so we need both of them. So here you have all four tips, 4 cues to identify intuitive knowing. And I invite you to click on the link in order to join the workshop tomorrow and have an experience. We are I can feel a pressure over my head from what's going on in the world. And then when I do something that I take a break from it, I suddenly feel this pressure kind of is leaving me. And so we need that. We need our spiritual tools at this time. We need our emotional tools. We need that to build our spiritual immunity and to build our emotional immunity, our mental immunity, and that builds up our physical immunity as well, right? Because fear reduces our physical immunity. It lowers it. So these are the tools, all the books you've read and everything on spirituality that you know this is the time to use it because this is what's going to take you through the hardship. And so I invite you to come for this experience tomorrow, Friday. Click on the button. It's affordable. We'll be together. We'll support each other. I'll guide you through a meditation exercise where you'll experience an expansive state. And then you'll bring a topic that you want to ask a question about, a challenge you're dealing with, or a decision you need to make of your choice. You'll ask for guidance, and we'll see what will happen. So join the workshop. There's still time. There's less than 24 hours. So click on the button, read more, and register. I hope to see you in the workshop tomorrow. And for everyone, stay safe, healthy, and in high spirits. Take care. Blessings.